a big dinner, but it has some special things. And I want to show you some of the things that we set on the table. You'll notice I have some cups here. I have 4 cups. During our Seder, we drink 4 cups of wine or grape juice. So we have 4 cups. And we also have what's called a Seder plate. And a real Seder plate, this is one that I have 4 children. That's why I'm going a little bit bananas. But this is one that one of my children made. But we have a big Seder plate and it has real foods on it. And each food symbolizes something from our time in Egypt. So I'll kind of pass it, I'll go around as I explain. The parsley is the green vegetable. We have a green vegetable because Passover is in the spring, right? Right now it's beautiful outside. The trees are starting to bud. This is the time of the spring, and Passover always falls in the spring. And we left Egypt in the spring. So that's why we celebrate now. We also have the harosetz. Harosetz is a delicious mixture of apples and nuts and grape juice. It's very sweet. And if you look at it, it's supposed to remind us of the mortar. You know how when we build a house, we have bricks, right? And in between the bricks, we have a brick, then we lay the mortar, then we put another brick, then we lay the mortar, another brick. Well, the Jewish people as slaves in Egypt, that's what Pharaoh made us do. Pharaoh made us build great big pyramids, and so we remember all of that hard work. We remember the mortar. This food is supposed to remind us of the mortar, the hard work of building these pyramids. You'll see we have some other things. We have the bitter herbs. This we use a big horseradish root. And I'll tell you something, I tried it for the first time this year. Usually I use the jarred kind, and I used the fresh kind, and I took a bite, and I thought I was going to cry. It was so strong. I said, oh. And then my son and my husband were comparing who could have the bigger piece. It was horrible. But why do we eat these bitter herbs? To remember how bitter, how hard our lives were in Egypt. And then there's some other things. Egg, we think about the rebirth, and we also think about the sacrifices that we gave in the temple. So this is the Seder plate that we have on our Seder table. Now, as I mentioned to you, we drink 4 cups of wine. And so we have some grape juice here. May I ask you, would you mind passing them out? That would be great. Now, I'll tell you something. During Passover, we remember that we were slaves, and now we're happy that we're free. So as a slave, one would have to sit sitting upright, right? But as a free person, one can recline, one can relax. So we actually have pillows that we pass out at the Seder, and we're supposed to, please feel free.
Do you want them to hold it and drink at the same time?
If you would like, if you want to follow Jewish tradition, in Jewish tradition, we say the blessing and then we eat or we drink. So if you'd like to, since we're talking about Passover, to go along with the Jewish tradition, what we do is we say the blessing and then we drink. You may do so. If you're thirsty and you feel like drinking, be my guest. But what we do during our Seder is we recline. We don't sit. We drink it, reclining, relaxing, because once we were slaves, and now we are showing we're free. And a free person can recline.